appears to be melting down, threatening to bring John McCain's campaign with it.
I was hopeful that the improved rescue plan would have had the votes needed to pass.
The bailout's failure on the House floor is a stinging defeat for McCain, who dramatically raised the stakes himself last week, declaring he'd suspend his campaign to get a deal. As the Dow plunged 778 points, McCain was on the defensive, so he tried to pin the defeat on Barack Obama, even as McCain insisted he did not want to play the blame game.
Senator Obama and his allies in Congress infused unnecessary partisanship into the process. Now is not the time to fix the blame. It's time to fix the problem.
But the real problem for McCain is that despite his best lobbying efforts, 133 fellow Republicans voted no, and some conservatives are charging McCain lost sight of his party's free market roots.
I think that John McCain failed to lead. He should be right there pushing the principles that the conservatives in the House are doing right now.
Please. The bailout is one of the few major issues where Obama is pretty much in line with McCain. Both men have suggested they would vote for the rescue plan. But the tension within the Republican Party, many House conservatives rejecting both the president and their presidential nominee, has given Obama an opportunity to tie McCain to an unpopular White House.
This crisis is a direct result of a philosophy that the people who've been running Washington for the last 8 years have been following.
McCain allies continue to insist he made the right move by inserting himself into the talks. And note 95 Democrats voted against the bill, too.
He wanted to come back to Washington and to help with the crisis. And the fact that it didn't work out, it's not on his shoulders. Frankly, it's on the Democrats' shoulders. They're the ones who run Congress.
But the challenge is particularly stark for McCain, according to the latest CNN opinion research poll. When asked who was more responsible for the financial crisis, 47% said Republicans, 24% said Democrats.
So, Ed, I mean, what happens now? I mean, do we know?
Well, no one really knows. I think that's what's making the crisis so scary for so many Americans. I mean, you had the Treasury Secretary today say, look, we have to find some sort of plan that's going to work. He's the guy who's in charge for the administration. He doesn't seem to know what the next move is. Neither do the leaders on the Hill, the Democratic or Republican leaders. And as you can see, the candidates are sort of trading swipes, but neither one of them has really laid out a plan that's going to fix it. And in that debate last week as well, they were both kind of dancing around it. And so I think the American people right now are looking, and they're not just seeing the financial systems in chaos, they're seeing our political systems in somewhat of chaos too. They thought there was some sort of a deal this weekend that could be sold. When the rank and file members voted on it, it went down. So people are seeing all this chaos and they're not seeing a solution to fix it. That's what makes it scary.
The president is speaking tomorrow morning. We're of course going to carry that live. I think it's in the 8:45 a.m. I mean, are there other meetings scheduled for tomorrow? I know a lot of these congressmen, they've already left. They're desperate to get reelected.
Not a lot of
Are there other meetings? At least someone meeting tomorrow in Washington to try to figure out what to do?
You would think that they would be. We're not hearing about a lot of congressional meetings. When I pressed various leaders in both parties today, what's the next step? They really did not have a three-point plan like we're going to meet here tomorrow. At the White House, they're saying, look, officials are still working the phones. But as you mentioned, the president's coming out to speak again tomorrow. This is about the 8th or 9th time he's spoken in the last 10 days, including that primetime address last week. None of it is working. How many times can he use the same megaphone and say the same thing? It doesn't appear to be working, Anderson.
All right, Ed Henry, thanks. Up next, digging deeper on the politics.